Hi guys and dolls, welcome, and it's good to be back on the case here on my YouTube train channel after having a little bit of a break because the volumes 1 and 2 of the Flying Scotsman story, they were, like I said, weeks in the planning, weeks in the making, and I was a bit drained after all of that, but yeah, I've had a break and I'm back, so yeah, let's move on. As the title suggests, and as you can see here on the screen now, this video is going to be all about EMUs, DMUs, DEMUs, Railbus, Railcars, bubble cars, and much more. Now, I don't think this has ever been done before on YouTube. In fact, I'm certain it hasn't, to be honest. And the idea of this came to me because I wanted to show you something different again, what's not been shown before, and hence what I'm trying to do here. Now, I will tell you, it's almost certainly going to be in 3 parts. It might even stretch to 4 because there's so much to show you. Of course, I don't have everything in the world, but I do have pretty much most of the certainly important ones of all the DMUs, EMUs, etc. what I've just said in the title as well. So look, the best thing here is to make a start. We're going to do them 3 at a time because obviously I've got 3 main lines and I've got 9 sidings or stations, so that's good. That gives us 3 lots of 3 each time for each bit of the video. So let's get on to the layout and show you what's happening. First one out today then, we have this. This is the Triang DMU Class 101. This was the second livery from Triang, but it's actually Triang Hornby at this period in time, and it's also the second version. Now, I'll just tell you very briefly, the catalogue number was R157 and R158 respectively, and it's a intercity blue one, of course, as you can obviously see there. There was never a centre coach made for this one, but I will talk to you more about that in a little while. Just going to let it go around a couple of times so you can have a good look. Oh, forgot to move the ashtray, idiot. Yeah. Coming round again. This was in the catalogue, I think, if I'm fairly sure it was 1970 and 1971. It was only out for those 2 years. There we go. Right, up second we have this one. Now this is the 3rd version. This time now it's actually Hornby Railways. The Triang name has been dropped at this point. I'm featuring her as a 3-car set, as you can see here. This one's got the illuminated head codes on the front and back, and it didn't actually do as well as I believe Hornby expected it to. They obviously had to retool this one to get this one done because of the head code lighting. That is part of the body, so it would have been a retooling for the moulding. But let it go round, let you have a good look at it. Still the same catalogue number. I can't remember the number of the centre car offhand, but I will double check that one for you. Let it come round a couple of times. Now what I'm doing, I'm not showing you me reaching over and changing points anymore when I have to do that. It's getting a bit monotonous and a bit boring. So all I'm going to do is a quick edit every time, so where you'll see the page change as it comes round as I'm doing the points, so to speak. Yeah, this one was around from 1975 to 77, so that was, I think it was 3 years it was running. Yep. Okay, third up comes this one. Now this is the very first one. This is the more sought after one, really. Same again, R158 and R157 in the loco. I've done this one as a 4-car set. You'll see coming round. And this one was in the catalogue for a long time. 1958 was the first time, all the way through to 1966. Oh, that's not a problem with the motor there, that's me doing that. Yeah, all the motors that I service and do myself, they run so well without sounding swell-headed that they are very sensitive and very responsive. And yeah, I was a bit struggling a bit with the control there, trying to get it to slow down correctly. I was a little bit had to touch with it on that one, so to speak. But anyway, we'll let you have a look at the 3 of them going round. A few different angles around the room, as always. Yeah, very nice. All 3 of these are in absolute mint condition. There's not a blemish on any of them. The one on the outer line, the very first one I just told you about, it is the first one without a doubt. but it's got the Mark III couplings, so it's not as old as 58. This one must be around about 60, I would guess, 1960. So in a second or two, we're just going to slow them down here, bring them round to the front for use. Yeah, that's cool. Let's get the next one into the shot. Any second now, here we go. Yeah, perfect there. And we'll get the blue one, the intercity one, parked up as well. Coming round any second. Get a nice shot at the end of all three for you. Yes, oh, a bit quick on the control again, John. There we have it. There you go, all three versions of the Triang Hornby, and then Hornby Railways DMUs Class 101. Alright, just a little bit actually on the layout to show you the models close up and just tell you a few bits and bobs about them. Now you'll see that this one's got the open axle boxes. Yep, there they are. And ironically enough, I have changed the drive wheels on the power coach, which is coming up in a minute, but I haven't had to change any of these wheels on the coaches or even the dummy and the power car's front wheels. There's the power car. Now of course they've been changed to run on modern track, but as you can see this is running perfectly alright, and that's the original wheels on the front, and they are all perfectly alright on System 6 and Pico track, which this is. So yeah, I mean that's dating back to around 1960 or thereabouts, and they're fine on this track. So moving on to this one being the third livery. Now you'll see here they're not open axle boxes, they're closed in ones, and of course this one was done in 1973, so the flanges would have been correct, and they were correct on the motor bogie there. I didn't have to change those either. So yeah, so that's that one with the illuminated head code. There we go. And then we'll just have a quick look at this one. This is the blue one. Now this is, like I said, this was 70 and 71, and this too runs perfectly alright on modern track, although she is on Super 4 track, there being on that middle line. But yeah, just a little bit of info about the models there for you. So it's time to put these away, and let's have the next three out. So, while these are gracefully reversing back into the sidings and stations from whence they came, let me just give you a little bit more info on them. They used to also be called a Metcam lightweight. I can tell you now that they were built in 1955. I think it was December of that year the first ran out of it. I believe there was 36 originals of them. So yeah, interesting stuff there. And I thought you'd probably enjoy something that go backwards like this with the cam, the onboard cam. So yeah, cool. I had to stop this one just here because the you can see the catenary wire there, look, yeah, nice one. I had to stop that. It was going to knock the camera off. Yeah, this is changing from the second line to the third line here now, so she's gracefully going around the back as well. Have a quick drink of my whiskey. Yeah, I thought it'd be nice to put them away in this fashion. Get you to see the different views of the layout, which don't come up that often, particularly the sidings. This one's going right round to the very front siding station here, and I did a lovely stop on this buffer for this one. Cool. Now this one, obviously the Intercity Blue one, she's going on line one obviously. I've never done a video camera shot of this line one going into the sidings in the middle of the layout, so this is the first. And you'll see I'm taking it really steady here. Never done this one before, look, this is going right to the middle of the layout, which is a cool shot. And I do apologise for the light changing in colour there, like there, look. Yeah, the reason for that is I've got this heavy duty floodlight in the room to obviously help give the videos better quality, but the iris of the camera obviously reflects and reacts to that quite noticeably, but you can see what's happening. So there we are, parked. Perfect. Right guys, now while these are all coming out of the sidings and the stations and running around the layout for you to have a good look at, let me explain a few things about the plans for this series of videos. If I have a particular class of a model and I have more than one of the same class, providing there's some differences between them, then you are going to see each and every one of them. Typical example there would be, of course, the first three you saw with the Triang Hornby ones, all DM101s, but they were all slightly different, so that's the plan of attack. Same thing applies here with these 105s. Now, the first two, as in the one on the middle line and the one on the centre line, they are absolutely identical, but only from the point of view that they are a different livery is why it's worth showing you them both, and I'll explain to you a little bit more about that in a minute. When the third one comes out, again there is an actual difference, although very similar looking, there is a difference between them all, so I will explain that in a short while. I think these are actually the only two, the 101 and the 105, where I actually have three of each. I know I do have four of one particular class, which I won't tell you about till we get to that, a bit later on in a different part. A little bit of a surprise there, but other than that, I think some more of the ones that are coming up further through the set of videos, they're going to be mainly ones, and there's going to be some with I've got two, an odd one or two, so yeah, so that's the plan of attack with all of that. Well, you're also going to see when they're all running together in threes like this, there's going to be differences in ages, there's going to be some old stuff, there's going to be some not so old stuff, and then there's going to be some modern stuff, so it's going to be a bit mix and match, and that's going to make the fun out of it anyway, make it good fun, and as I say, there's lots and lots and lots to show you. This of course means that there will be some detail differences between them. Some are going to be highly detailed and some are going to be quite bland and old, but again, for me that makes the fun of it. I like collecting them and I like running them and I like talking about them, so yeah, all good fun. That's a quick point edit there. Well, now we've got the third one out onto the outer line here. This is an original 105 two-car set. Now I can tell you that these were built in, well, they started building in 1956 by Craven's Limited of Sheffield. They were mainly for branch line really. Hey, and get this, they actually built more than 400. I think between 1956 and 1960. Oh, if I get this right now, it's either 402 or 403. I mean, that's a lot. And 275 of these were actually power cars. They were made of steel construction and were very much based on the Mark 1 coach. I have a sneaky suspicion that three of them have been preserved, but I'm not quite sure where they really are. Now, the one on the middle line and the one on the very inner line, line 1, to the centre of the layout, like I said, they're the same apart from a different livery, but they're not actually the same as the one on the outside of the line. These were actually called Class 105 Power Twins two-car DMUs. Now, let me get this right, I've got to think about it a little bit. Yeah, there used to be 3-car units when they were originally made, and then I can't remember the story behind this. I think they used to have a driver motor brake second, that's what DMBS, I think that's shorthand stuff there. I'm trying to think how this came out. I think it was in 1970 when they started removing them, and they ended up with lots of motor cars, powered cars, driving cars, whatever you want to call them, and that's when they were put together like this, being called the 105 Power Twin. So yeah, interesting stuff. Let's get them all to a stop anyway. Here's the first one. That's the original 105. Speed whiskers. Come on. Right, this is the second, I don't know what to call it, series, shall we call it, which were called the Power Twins. And that one there, as you can see, is the BR blue one, the intercity one, of course, and the other one should be here in a second. Here she is, look, right on the very end. And again, like I say, that is also classed as a twin power one. Yeah. Right, let's have a quick look at the models themselves, close up. Okay, that's the first one. Yep. Real nice they are. You know, I wouldn't become a traitor to Hornby, and of course Triang, obviously, because they've got good stuff. They have got some good stuff. But I tell you what, I do put the edge on Bachmann for a lot of items. I really do. Bachmann makes some amazing stuff. Now these models, they've all got interior lighting, and of course they've got the front and back directional lighting. So we'll bring this one in and have a close look. Yeah. Now, as I said to you a little bit earlier in the narration, these two are identical, apart from the fact that obviously one's in Brunswick green and the other one's intercity blue with the yellow ends. So there she is, close up. Cool. And let's bring the third one in. And again, like I told you earlier, this is actually different to those two. I know it looks very much the same, but it is actually different. There we go, that's the speed whiskers. And it is different from the point of view that it only has a single power car, whereas the other two, like I said, they both power cars. So there you have the three models. Right, let's put them away. Now, just briefly here, while we're taking them back to where they started from, you might not have noticed if I hadn't mentioned it here and now, but to me, the onboard cam here, it looks jerky. I've checked to the previous bit that I did on the 101s, and it's the same, slightly jerky look. It's not unwatchable, but I realised I've got the frames set wrong on the little camera, so I've now cured that for the next bit of onboard stuff. Now this shot here coming up, I've never ever seen this bit myself from the onboard cam. This is the farthest corner in the room on the left, and it's just under the curtain, look, and I've never seen in this corner from this angle before, so yeah, it's cool. Nice and gently does it. Yeah, wicked. And this is the intercity blue one. She's coming from line 2 onto 1 again, like the first time round. And yeah, just watching her go through, it's quite amazing what shots look like when you do this. You know, it's not something you see until you put a camera out there and have a look at the back of the layout and everything. It's brilliant. So she's going to come, yeah, she's, oh, now listen, it fitted under the catenary, that's what the noise was then. Yeah, it's a bit, not so high as the 101, so yeah, cool, it went under the catenary right to the end. Now this one, obviously this is the last one again, on line 1, and you'll see when she gets round the corner, you'll see what I was saying about the iris of the camera getting belted with too much light and reacting to it. As she comes round, you'll see the floodlight is shining off the whitely painted door. There, look, and it's just shut its iris, look, it's gone black. Now also, you'll notice that I am taking this bit really, really steady, because in a trial run of this particular one, it did derail there, although it's done it. I've gone a bit too quick now, and I ended up hitting the buffer a bit hard, like, oops. Okay, on the third section of this part of the video, here comes one of my favourites. Now this is the Derby Lightweight. She's a corker. I love this DMU. She's really beautiful. I love the 3 big windows at the front. She looks fantastic. Now, she's not actually got a class number, but she does fall in the listings between the 105 and the 107, which I'll talk to you about the 107 in a minute. And as I say, I love this locomotive. I really think she's great. Now, I've got to get her onto the second line here, which is not that hard to do, but then she's got to get up my converter point onto track 1. Oh, is she going to do it? I bet you it will. It's a Bachmann. I bet you it will, and it has done. It will do, because it's a Bachmann. Bachmann locomotives always do that fine. Now, second up, as you can see here, this is the Hornby DMU Class 110. Yeah, she's really fierce in this one. Again, it's a Ringfield motor serviced by me, and she's very, very, well, no, that's me doing that. It's not the motor, she's really, really very, very, very good. And yeah, onto the second line with her. And of course, Hornby made loads of these in different liveries, but this is the white one. So yeah, moving on again. Third one out. Now this is the Class 108. This is another Bachmann. So we'll watch her come out onto line 3. Yep, there's fine. Another point edit there. And bring her around to the front. I'm going to keep changing the order in which I do all these, and I'm going to keep changing the directions. It's a lot of it's going to be just as it comes out, to be honest with you. But what I am trying to do is increase the class numbers in numerical order as best as I can. So we'll see how it goes. Now, while I wait, we'll keep it going here. Look, just keep her running around. We'll get the others going as well, and just have a good look round the layout at everything as it's all happening. Now, the original Derby lightweights, there was 97 of them built by British Railways workshops in Derby, which is Nottinghamshire, where I live, and that was between 1954 and 1956. Yeah, I think that's right. Oh, it might be 57. I still haven't made myself any notes. I should do, really, but anyway, whatever. I'm within a year to being right on that. Now, I can tell you that because they were withdrawn, when they were taken out of service, it would be about 68, 69, and because they were withdrawn at that point in time, they didn't actually have a designated class under the new TOPS classification scheme, so that's basically why it doesn't have a class number. But hell, I love them. I think they're great. The Class 110 was built in Birmingham by the Railway Carriage and Wagon Company, and they were in the late 1960s. There was very many of them built. I don't know the exact number off the top of my head, I can't remember, but there was a lot of different liveries. The one I got here, as you can see, could be all white, and she's going a bit fast. I think she needs to be slowed down a little bit. She's got the right note to know this one, as you know. Wow. Yeah, thinking about it, if I remember correctly, I think the last ones were withdrawn in 1992 or 93, 91, very, very close to that period of time anyway. Now, you heard me mention to you a few seconds ago about the Class 107. Now, as it happens, I don't actually have one. Now, Bachmann did do one. It's really, really scarce. It was done specially for Model Zone, I think, if I've got that correct, and they are very hard to find. I'm trying to think, they were built between 1961 for Scottish local services, so that's the reason why there would be a limited number of them. 26 3-car sets were built, and they were sometimes known as the Derby Heavyweights, but unfortunately I don't have a 107, which is why we've jumped straight in with 108. So let's have a look at them all going around the layout for a bit longer. All the usual, few shots for you from all around the room. Doing the best I can. No expert cameraman. That DMU 110 is still going a little fast, you know. Well, it's okay. Doesn't look bad, that's for sure. Well, I think we should be slowing them down again, as we have been doing. Get them up to the front for you. Yeah. Okay, the 108 first here. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, fine by me. Okay, the 110 next. This time around. Yeah, I'm slowing her down as I'm talking. There she comes, look. Now, I do generally tend to put the powered car in the forward direction, regardless of which way around I'm going. But of course, because most of these DMUs and EMUs are same at both ends, it's quite handy to be able to just stop them, all three of them, in such a way that, you know, we can line them up and finish off the actual last shot with that. So yeah, cool. Wicked. We're nearly there. Yep. Done it. Oh yeah, forward a bit. Okay, as always, let's just have a quick look at the models close up. Just bring my favourite one in first. Yeah. Okay, there she is. Brilliant. Love that front. Love those windows. Just something about it. I don't know what else to say, but there's the model. You already know it's a Bachmann. It has interior lighting and directional lighting as well, as they usually do with Bachmann. Okay, bring in the next one. Not really a lot more to tell you about this. I told you most of the info through the narration in the video earlier, but yeah, that's the Hornby one. I mean, the detail's okay, but it's not like today's standard, is it? But you know, this is an old one, and like I said, it was made in many liveries. But yeah, that's the DMU 110. Okay, let's get the last one into the frame. Now this is actually, it's really quite funny, because as I've been doing the editing, I've suddenly just realised I never told you anything about the 108. Now obviously it does look very much like the 105. There's very similar, obviously, but yeah, so I better give you some info now, and I made a few notes so I remember everything as well. There was 147 2-car versions made. There was 5 3-car sets and 6 4-car sets. They were all built between 1958 and 1961. Let me think. So that would be 210 powered cars, 123 trailer cars, and these two were often called the Derby Lightweight. But yeah, it's lovely. Again, typical Bachmann model. Yeah, I think the last one, well, they started withdrawing them around 1990. In 1993 saw the withdrawal of the very last one. I can't remember what region it was off the top of my head. And I know 50 of them have been passed on to Heritage Railways, which is great. So, yeah, there you go. And they all are. Oh well, third one's hiding. Alright, we'll get these put away and bring out the last 3 for this part 1. Well, as before then, we'll just see them going backwards back into the sidings and stations. I'm not going to keep doing this, it's going to get a bit boring and a bit repetitive, but we'll make this the last time. This is obviously the class 108 on the way round, back into the sidings. I mean, there's plenty of other angles I can give you with the onboard camera, but they're doing it this way into all these sidings on the left. Like I said earlier, it's nothing I've ever done before, so it makes it quite different to be able to see this from this different angle. So yeah, follow it down to the stop, running alongside the trams there, obviously. Yeah, coming up, nice and gently does it. Engine shed on the left there, and we're in. Right, this is obviously the 110 now, off line 2 onto line 3. She's going to go downside alongside of the 108. Yeah, interesting. Yeah, it is interesting to be able to see different angles of the layout that you've never seen before. Yeah, she's on her way down. And yet again, gently does it. There's a little stanner there, wasn't there? I think the wheels probably need cleaning. I think she stuttered on a point. Oh, we're in though. Right, this is obviously now my favourite one, the Derby Lightweight on line 1, which is first radius curves, by the way, and this Bachmann locomotive is running fine on first radius curves. So yeah, no complaints about that whatsoever. Right, change over to line 2 coming up. Just there. Camera Harris is changing again. I don't know. Well, she's on the outside track now, so we'll take her all the way around. Can't think of any more information to give you. Yeah, one thing I will say is the next 3 are going to be the last 3 for this part 1 of the video, and we'll see how it does, you know, and I'll get straight on to part 2 pretty quick, I would imagine. Yeah, I think the camera's just hit the overhead catenary again. No worries, let's move on. First then, we'll start with the Pacer, Class 142. Now, I have to tell you, I'm not a big fan of these. You can see she's struggling a little bit with the points, and that's why I've had to bring her out quite nippy. To me, it's not a very good design at all, the way it picks up its power, because it just does not bite points. Particularly if you just ran one car and shown. I know you wouldn't do that, but if you do, the problem is more pronounced. Second up, we've got the beautiful Bachmann class 150/1, a 2-car set. As you can see, this is a beauty, weighs a ton, typical Bachmann, really nice. So we just get her out. We get all 3 of them out this time, just changing the plan a little bit, so just a bit of variety. We'll get all 3 round to the front, and then we'll get them all going, and I'll tell you all about them. So this is a fantastic loco. She's coming round on the outside here, of course, on line 3. Come on, girl. Oh, I love Bachmann stuff, particularly the DMUs and the EMUs. They are ahead of everybody with them. Shall we just gracefully stop her here? Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, we'll have a proper chat about it in a bit. I'll tell you all about the information about them as soon as we've got the 3rd one out, which is going to be right now. Okay, last up then for this part of the video, and in fact for the whole of this part 1 video, this is the Hornby one. This is the Railcar class 121. So we'll bring her all the way around. Now I'll tell you something really a bit weird about this. I bought it off eBay, and the windows have gone all milky. The back ones are not very good there, and the front ones are even worse. I am in talks with the seller about this, but I'll tell you a bit more about that in a bit. So we'll get them all together here first. Get the camera on all 3, John. Come on, turn it better. Let's do this. Move it out first then with this beautiful Bachmann class 150. She's a lovely loco, lovely set, very well made. Okay, we just take her around the once. I tell you what, I'm going to stop here, sideways on. Just for a change again. Wait till the first one goes by. We just take each one off in turn. Just going to be different. Here we go, look. Okay, Pacer, not my favourite particular locomotive. And come on, let the others go by first. Come on, girls. 1. Pacer's going fast. And now, okay, here we go. Right. The Railcar class 121. Right, we're all on the move now. Yeah, the windows in that 121, when I got it, I noticed they've gone all milky, and I am in touch with the seller. We're doing a deal on it at the moment. It's I can't get any from Hornby. I tried to see if the spares were available, but they're not. So yeah, just one of them things. I'll lead them around the room, and I'll give you as much information as I can on them all. So just stay with me. Alright, let's do this in class order then, starting with the line 1 near the centre of the layout, the Railcar, or Railbus sometimes as they're called. Yeah, the 121, I think there was 15 of these made, and the DMBS was there. I think they were introduced to the rail network about 1960. Quite a while ago now, ain't it really? Yeah, they were pretty good, and they did the job very well. At the time it was like a modern version of the Great Western Region AEC Railcar, which you will be seeing in this series. I will point that out to you. Yeah, so they were pressed steel, and they could carry 65 passengers, very popular. Okay, to the middle line, the class 142 Pacer. Like I said, not one of my favourite models. I don't think Hornby designed this one very well, to be honest with you. That's my opinion, but whatever. Initially there was 50 of them ordered, but that eventually ended up being almost 100. I can tell you that this is fun. They were built from Leyland National Bus parts, which is brilliant. And they were first used between 1985 and 1987, so that was pretty cool. The 4-wheel base didn't give a very good ride apparently, and that's the main problem with the model as well. The fact that it picks up from the left-hand wheel at the back and the front right-hand wheel for the opposite side of the current. The minute that one of those wheels gets onto a frog of a point, it stops, and it's basically relying on the other one behind it to give it a push. So yeah, kind of alright, not my favourite, really not. Yeah, of course, the livery of the 121, the Railbus, that was pushing BR green, and the livery of the Pacer there was that orange, which is BR Manchester PTE. So yeah, that's those 2 liveries. Let's move on to the 3rd one. Let's now talk about a real locomotive, the Bachmann 150 here. Right, okay, I can tell you that these were actually the second generation of DMUs, and the contract for them was placed with Rail by British Rail Provincial Section 1983. Actually, I didn't even know about that, I actually just read that. So, well, look, they were based on the Mark III coach, that I did know, and I don't know how many of them there was built. I think they were built at York, actually, British Railways up in York, I'm fairly sure that's correct. Yeah, I think a lot of the time they was improved for comfort and, you know, making passengers comfortable. Basically, they were just a very, very good, you know, runner and very, very popular indeed. So, yeah, cool stuff. Now, as I can tell you, as you know, this is the last bit of this part 1 video, but I have also got the Class 150/2, and there is a difference between them, and I will keep you in suspenders with that bit until that becomes the first locomotive of part 2. So stopping them all here now, we're at the end. You've seen them all running, obviously, and there's no point in putting these away. Might as well just kill it at the end here, and that will be absolutely fine. Come on, girl, last one round. Here it comes with its milky windows. You can't even see through the front, you know. Right, well, that's it, guys. Look forward to part 2 with me, and yeah, looking forward to doing it as well. Cheers, guys.